Hello, everybody, and welcome to our conversation in our series on why Black Lives Matter. Today, we are going to look at healing the core of persecution. So before we begin, I'd just like everybody to introduce themselves, and then we'll take it from there. So my name is Granville Campbell.
My name is Drake Minori.
I'm Deanna.
I'm Deji.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for joining us. And to everybody that has been following us and joining us, thank you so much for your support as well. So as I said, our topic is around feeling into and healing the core of persecution. And it evolved out of a couple of articles that we've read in terms of places in the world where there is still the energy of persecution, and also kind of expounding the suppression or oppression narrative. And one of those places was obviously in China, with kind of LGBTQ people being removed from mainstream media and not allowed to show up in those places. And then another place was in one of the Arab countries, and I think it's Afghanistan, where also there's a lot of persecution, and quite a few LGBTQ people have now gone into hiding and are being evacuated in those spaces and looking for support in being evacuated in those spaces. So for us, this kind of led us into the topic of what is the spirit of persecution that's still kind of prevalent in parts of the world, and how are we experiencing it in our own realities, and if we are actually experiencing it in our own realities. And so, yeah, I'd like to open it up to the team as well and just get their thoughts on what those articles brought up for them in terms of freedom to be yourself, and also just in terms of pointing to the healing and pointing to where there may still be personal fears of persecution in us that we can talk to and heal through.
I feel like for me, like on a very personal level, I feel like I've been moving through this kind of feeling of being afraid to really speak up and like express myself out of fear of yeah, I guess at the core it is fear of some sort of persecution or fear of disagreement, in a sense of like I'll be kind of punished if I say something wrong or do something wrong, or if I just am wrong, sort of thing. So yeah, I can see how I kind of carry that energy personally, and how that's being reflected on like a much grander scale with the energy of persecution.
And when you kind of feel into that, and just in your experience, what does that energetically do to you?
It shuts you down. Yeah, it takes away your power, right? And it definitely separates you from your good. and your peace.
Would you like to go into healing that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you to take a deep breath and just relax into that feeling. Just relax into all the words that you've shared with us right now. And just allow that first feeling to surface very naturally. Just allow it to be there. And as you feel that first feeling, just let us know what it is.
Yeah, there's anger there.
Can you see that part of yourself that's angry?
Yes.
Would you like to go ahead and ask her what she's angry about?
Yeah, being judged, being shut down, being separated for no good reason, it's like, yeah, being harmed for no good reason. And not being able to stop it.
And is attack real? Is harm real?
No.
So when she perceives that there's the potential of those things to happen, is she potentially putting up walls to give herself a sense of safety and security?
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
So as she looks into that space where fear of attack and harm is not real, is she potentially putting up walls to give herself a sense of safety and security?
Yes.
And is that necessary, knowing that she's a divine child of God?
No, it's not necessary.
Right, and so as she realizes that it's not necessary, can she also realize that there may be spaces where she's actually constricting and restricting herself from showing up fully?
Yeah.
And so just looking at those spaces of constriction, is it possible for her to allow that constriction and restriction to just lightly dissolve? She doesn't have to fight it. She doesn't have to reason with it. She doesn't have to negotiate it with it. She just needs to allow it to naturally dissolve.
Yeah.
And as she allows that dissolution of that constriction and restriction, what does she allow herself to be in that space?
Well, she allows herself to recognize the truth that she's safe. And with that, yeah, she's free to explore how she wants to express herself and who she wants to be and how she wants to show up in the world.
And in that freedom, does it feel like there's more peace and joy in just being?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
As that peace and joy returns, are there any other feelings that start to surface?
Yeah, I guess feelings around setting boundaries. And like not letting other people's views or negative beliefs like impact how I feel about myself.
So there's freedom to release the energy around you and to step more fully into your own expression,
Yeah.
into your own self-expression.
Yeah.
And how does that part of you feel about actually setting boundaries?
She's kind of like, oh, we can do that. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Would you like to just give her permission to just set the boundaries that she needs to set? How does it feel to be able to just give her that permission?
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's different because I was just so used to, I guess, putting other people first. I didn't even realize how much I did it versus putting myself first. So yeah, it feels different, but it feels good.
Awesome. But is it okay for you to have experienced putting other people first so that the contrast allows you to realize that it's appropriate to put yourself first?
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it.
Is it okay to have had that experience?
Yeah.
How does she feel about having had that experience? Knowing that it's okay.
Well, she's more appreciative now.
Yeah, she's more appreciative of herself. More
Yeah.
appreciative of her journey and her power. That she chose to do it in one way, and now she can choose to do it in another way. How cool is that? How much lighter is that? How much less of a burden is that?
Yes.
So as she puts down that burden, what's the next feeling that comes up?
I guess like a fear of like, what am I losing? What am I giving up? But it's okay to change. It's okay to like let go of ego in this sense, right? Like
And is loss real?
no.
So the perceived loss may just be a shift. Maybe a shift in doing things differently that allows her to more fully be herself. How does that feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so would you like to just go ahead and ask her how she feels about the perceived loss now?
Yeah, it's not a loss at all. It's more of like a new insight kind of thing, something to gain.
Amen. New awarenesses are always fun.
Yeah.
And so as she's allowed herself to just step more fully into herself and her self-expression, how does she feel about owning her power now?
Yeah, it feels like the beginning of like a new adventure, kind of.
Because there's a layer of openness here.
Openness, yeah, that's what it feels like.
And what does that openness give you? What does it give her? What does it allow her to feel?
Like a sense of yeah, that she can relax, that she's okay.
Amen. And so in that okayness, would you like to just scan for where she may still be feeling a little bit constricted? And it may not be there anymore. We're just checking in.
Yeah, the openness feels good. It feels peaceful here.
Good. Does it feel complete yet?
Yes.
So would you like to just allow all of that healing to just settle into your heart space? Just welcome home all those parts that were not really comfortable to fully self-express and be open to life. Allow them to come home. Just welcome them home. Just allow them to settle in.
Yeah.
So now, I asked you about your perception of persecution. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, yeah, I don't choose it. I do have compassion. you know, for those who may experience it, but yeah,
So what do you choose?
love and acceptance and peace.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And that feels really good. So thank you, Granville. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was really cool. I enjoyed that as well. You know, like, and I feel like as we just walked through that piece of healing, it's just it's also kind of just been an energetic release in some way, and that's why a lot of the language that you use when you were sharing your thoughts about it felt almost claustrophobic, and that openness kind of just returned to release that energy of being caught or wrapped up in that space of constriction. So that's really how I felt the peace returning, in that your healing took you into a much more open state.
Yeah, definitely. And like when I went there to that constricted place and actually allowed myself to feel that, it was like, ugh, this feels terrible. Like I don't want to choose this anymore. I gotta let this go. So yeah, it was good to go there and just release it.
Awesome, yeah. And you know, and I agree with you that it doesn't feel good, but it leads us to the good feeling. So it's appropriate to explore those places that we
Yeah,
sometimes don't really want to explore.
absolutely.
Awesome. So I just want to check in with the rest of the team in terms of how we started off our conversation and how you're kind of feeling in relation to this topic of persecution right now.
I think for me, it's like kind of realizing that you have like the power of choice and everything, because you get to choose what you experience. Because like as we were healing through it, I kind of was healing through like, oh, well, I feel like I could be attacked or like something bad could happen to me. But then I just had that realization again of, well, do I choose that? And then no. So if I don't choose that, then that can't happen to me. And that, brought a lot of my energy back from leaking, my energy to, oh, well, I don't have power, I don't have a choice. And yeah, it just really feels good to like recognize how powerful I actually am, and like, extending that power to others, like by offering them like a choice too, is also very powerful. So that's what I received from that. And it's very healing, because I'm like, I've been healing through that. So yeah, it's perfect timing.
Did any other feelings come up for you?
Um, I I was feeling some sadness because there was a part of me that was feeling like I got like taken from, or like my power was somewhere else rather than within me. So like my power was outside of me. But once I realized like, no, it's always been within me, then like that joy and that happiness just returned. Um, but yeah, it was just like a releasing of a big belief of like, hey, you don't have to give power to other people, because you have that. um yeah, I think like that's really all that came up. I don't really feel like anything else coming up at the moment, so
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I just feel like really relaxed and like zened out, so
Awesome. How about you, Deji?
What came up for me when you brought up the subject of persecution, I was lost at first, but when you started elaborating on, you know, the what's the word I can use, the structure of how the LGBT community is treated amongst these different locations, it made me think about something that I brought up in a past Black Lives Matter session. But I'll bring it up again. Another country that is like that is Nigeria, that is in Africa. Apparently, you can be imprisoned for being gay, pretty much. And the thing is, Nigeria is a very conservative environment, meaning that they base their actions on religion. And I believe Christianity and Muslim is the predominant religions practiced in Nigeria. And nothing there is really God. There's nothing really loving or peaceful. It's just, this is how it is and that's how it is. It doesn't get, I don't care how you feel, things like that. So it's unfortunate that that's how their environment is operating, but yep, that's what came up for me. That's about it.
And what feeling does that bring up for you? Like when you feel into it, what does it do to your energy?
I guess have compassion.
So having compassion is probably something that we would do as we learn. I'm asking what feeling you actually have about it. Like when you feel into the fact that in places where it is predominantly Black, that there is still such a level of persecution of other people's truth. What do you feel about it?
Sadness.
And in that sadness, what is the sadness about?
That other people are allowing such things to happen. But I know that that's not my job. That's God's job to take care of. It's nothing that I should be concerned about. That's something that God is going to take care of for that group of individuals, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I get it. I get the logic of what you're saying. I'm just like, but what I'm asking is your personal feeling. Like, what is it doing to you? Like, is there an energetic thing that's happening, or is it just that you're observing what's happening in the world?
Observing.
So it doesn't bring up any feelings for you at all.
No, I said it brought up sadness.
Right.
Yeah.
But you also kind of explained away the sadness. So is the sadness there or isn't it there?
A tad, yeah.
Right. So that's the reason why I'm asking you, because I feel like there's a piece of healing in that as well. And so I want to know if you'd like to go into that space and heal that piece.
Okay.
Cool. So would you like to just relax into that feeling and just allow the feeling to surface as it is? You don't have to worry about what it's attached to or what it means right now. Just let the feeling surface first. And as you let that feeling surface, can you see that part of yourself that's sad about the situation?
Yes.
What does he feel is necessary for him in this situation?
For me, in this, I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
No, what does he need? What is necessary for him? What does he want in this situation? In this sadness, what does he need there to feel loved?
Love, compassion, and reassurance.
What does he need reassurance about?
That a change will happen to such a hateful environment.
And in needing that change, is it okay for him to give that responsibility to God right now?
Yes.
And knowing that he can give that responsibility to God, what does that do to the feeling of sadness?
Freeing from sadness.
And in that freedom from sadness, what does he choose in its place?
I choose God.
And is it okay to be sad about things that you see on the outside as God shows you where love is required in the world?
Yes.
Right. And is it okay to hand those situations to God in their entirety, knowing that God is very capable in this space?
Yes.
And as you let go of feeling responsible, what do you allow yourself to do?
I allow myself to give God his job back.
Right. And in releasing the energy of having done God's job, what returns to you?
Peace.
And as that peace settles in,
I'm sorry, was that a question?
no, and I'm going there. As
Oh.
that peace settles in, are there any other feelings that start to surface?
No.
Does it feel complete?
Yes.
Would you like to just scan in all areas of your life, just to allow yourself to have a sense of the peace in all the areas of your life?
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Feels good.
Would you like to just allow all of that to settle in? Just allow it to ground. And just check in with yourself if there's any other feelings that are surfacing.
This feels complete.
Oh, good. Would you like to just allow that to ground in and just relax into it?
Okay.
Cool. So if I asked you now how you felt about some African countries where there may still be persecution of people and their lifestyles, specifically places like Nigeria, possibly Kenya, where it's predominantly Black, it's still very predominantly focused on a narrow way of looking at life. How do you feel about it now?
I'm at peace with it.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. So I want to ask the team, in terms of our sense of where our healing takes us, at any given point, do we feel like we kind of get to a certain point of healing and no further, or do we feel like there's always openness to go deeper in healing things related to why Black Lives Matter? And I'll tell you the reason for my question, because I feel like we're starting to almost lag a little bit in terms of our topics, and we seem to circle back to some topics. And sometimes it's appropriate, and sometimes it feels like almost an energy of slowing down, and almost the energy of the momentum of our conversation is also slowing down. And I just want to check in with you if you also have that sense, or if it's something that I may be misperceiving.
I can share my thoughts here. So I joined in a few months ago, I think, and I know there had been a lot of discussions prior to that. So a huge body of work when it comes to these discussions and the healings around this topic. And I feel like there's always more to heal just because of consciousness, where consciousness is at. And, as long as what we're seeing reflected back to us shows us that there's something to heal, then there's always going to be something to discuss in these conversations. And then on a more personal level, I know it can start to become a lot to do back-to-back weekly discussions, and I know schedules kind of get in the mix, and everyone has their own personal situations that are going on, so that can play a factor. But as far as the overall, is there still room for healing? I think absolutely. But maybe we can kind of feel into what that actually looks like going forward for the group.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and I'm asking because I also don't want us to to do it out of obligation. I feel like that there's like the next level of commitment to our healing in this space. And so I think for me, it's probably that I'm calling in that next level of commitment. And as you said, you know, like there's potential about schedules and stuff like that. But I also feel like if the healing, as you said, if our realities are still reflecting certain things in consciousness, there's always going to be an opportunity for a deeper commitment, a deeper healing. And I think that's possibly part of where I'm going with this in terms of, I feel like it's time to call in that deeper commitment and that deeper healing, and to start to go even more into the core of topics that we've covered before. And so, yeah, you know, like, and I say we do come circle back to certain things that I feel, but I also agree that there's possibly more underneath it. There's like we've touched quite a bit on some surface things. We've touched maybe on another layer below it, and it feels like it's almost an opportunity now to actually go even more deeply into the core of some of the things that we've touched on. And that's why I'm kind of putting it out there. Like, you know, it's for me, it's just about a deeper commitment. It's about the next level of healing in the space. Just checking in. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that definitely feels good to me. I feel like, you know, when you were like describing the slowness, I feel like that was, I was feeling it too. And I feel like it was because we weren't going deeper. Like it was kind of just like we were, and then like God was saying, we'll go here. And we were kind of like, so that was like causing that. So I definitely agree that there is a new level to go into, and maybe it's just like clearing the resistance to like going deeper and like really going into places that we are like uncomfortable with, because that's the places that like where we're going to receive the most healing. And yeah, so I feel that too. Like I agree with you on what you're feeling. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm also just trying to feel into where we've gone with our healing today in terms of the core of persecution. I kind of feel like the next piece is just that it feels like there's a slowness in society responding to the requirement to heal in these spaces, and the requirement to kind of release that energy of persecution and oppression. And yeah, I'm not sure if any of you feel similarly to me in that space, but I kind of just feel like there's probably, for me, there's a feeling of reality isn't shifting fast enough. So possibly an energy of impatience a little bit. How do you guys feel about that?
I definitely agree with like that impatience, because you know, like I will be watching certain things. I don't really watch the news or anything like that, but you know, just like certain articles and things that come out, and it's just like people they're still on this, like people they're still haven't like healed, and like you know, like it's kind of just like it's foreign to me because like I'm so healed here, but other people like are still choosing like the contrast, and like it's kind of like this is getting old, so like let's move it forward, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess it is impatience, or maybe like control, a little bit of control too, maybe. But that's just what I'm feeling, because I'll be seeing things and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why are we still having to like heal through this? This should be healed, like,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And when you say there's a little bit of control, I almost feel like it's the underlying thing of it is that there's a little bit of an energy of judgment still.
Mm,
So like, yeah, like, I was just like scanning that and like trying to feel into why I'm judging that it's not moving at a fast enough pace.
right.
And again, yeah, I agree with you. It's like this energy of control, but also the feeling of reality is not reflecting the healing enough. And so I think it's probably just calling for me to release the need to see that shift so quickly and to judge the reality so harshly.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and like having compassion for other people because they're not like quite at what we are at, and like
Mm.
that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely another layer of compassion, but also definitely releasing judgment in this place in just a little bit more.
Definitely.
Yeah, that feels a lot more comfortable. But also, I also feel like it's good for us to be discerning of where the shifts are taking place and what these things in society are still showing us about where our healing needs to take us. So like there's that energy of where is the judgment versus the discernment.
Yeah, because it's like, when you are doing the inner work, because you're like, well, I'm divine, and I want like my reality to reflect that, like, I guess it is discernment when you're like seeing a pattern that like shouldn't really be there, um so yeah, but it is good. It has me like feeling into like, well, am I judging, or am I just like, hey, like, this isn't right, I'd rather like, this is something I want to change, this is something that like has to shift in a way, like this is something that needs love in this space.
Mm.
But I do sense an upset though, like within me, with just like, I guess it just comes just like with like some white people are just like why, like I'm associated with these people, I guess, in like, I don't know if that upset makes sense, but it's just like like, oh my goodness, I don't like what.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's almost that sense of guilt by association.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, why, like, I don't want to be associated with these people, like these people
Yeah.
are hateful and just like still in the 1930s, like we're in 2021, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I like that you've mentioned that, because it's also again, but that association then also could spill over into suffering by association and
Mm,
feeling persecuted by association because of the similarity to other people. And when I say similarity, I'm literally talking to the appearance on the outside. Like, because like at the core, you never really know what is in another person. You may be able to get a sense of it, to feeling the energy, but I feel like some of these things are very, for lack of a better word, surface level things. But
mm,
again, because of the similarity, it allows us to unpack where our triggers still lie, and potentially where there may still be associated trauma. So again, it's also, it's like that, like it's a dual-edged thing where you kind of really do need to be discerning of whether it's now a pattern, or if it's just that the shift still needs to happen, or if it's a trigger that is directing you into a deeper level of healing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely feel like there is something deeper that we could go to. I mean, like, not now, because it's requires way more time, but I can feel it. It just hasn't like popped into my, like, what it is. So yeah, that feels good to like recognize that there's something like under here. Since yeah.
Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. How are you guys feeling so far?
Yeah, I like that you brought that up, Drake. Like, I feel like there's something for me too, like on the opposite end, kind of like what's been coming up for me, especially in Sedona. I traveled to Sedona with my mom, and she was she loved it. I loved it. It was like a fantastic experience for both of us. But she was just so shocked at the friends I made in Sedona at the conference, and like at our hotel, she met some of the people from our community. And she was just kind of shocked at how nice and welcoming and loving everyone was to her. And I'm like, why are you shocked? Like, what is so shocking about this? But it had to do with race and like people from all different backgrounds and ethnicities were loving and embracing towards me, and she wasn't like used to that. And the reason I bring it up is because like Drake was talking about how like the similarities for him kind of brings up feelings around like I'm associated with this group and this and that. And for me, it's kind of like I'm associated with my culture, but there's a part of me that feels like my culture doesn't want me to associate with another culture, or that I'm not supposed to. It was kind of like, you're going to Arizona with all those white people. Like, you know, you're going to Arizona, right? You know, there are no black people in Arizona. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I heard that from family members who I told that I was going to Arizona. And so it's kind of like this feeling of like we can't integrate cultures. And yeah, I just feel like there's something there for future discussion. So I just wanted to add that piece. I don't know if that's completely related to what Jake was saying, but I just felt felt the need to bring it up.
What I think you did, I think you touched on something quite core here. It's like it's still the energy of separation, and I think that's probably what we're feeling is the next deep piece of healing here. It's like a really going into healing that separation, or the core of separation amongst races. Like just having now like felt into it as both of you were sharing, that it kind of feels to me like that's the deeper thing here. It's like the deeper piece of healing, but it's literally that sense of healing the core of separation at a racial level now. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's going to be some, it's going to be some big healing, but also some fun healing. Cool. I'm looking forward to that. How are you guys feeling about that?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to say for today, I feel complete with this conversation. So I'm just checking in. How are all of you feeling about it? Good. Awesome. So yeah, thank you for today's conversation. And also, yeah, let's, I think we have kind of gotten to where our deeper commitment to healing in this space is. So yeah, it was a good way to just step through that next layer. And, you know, because also the heaviness of trying to find topics kind of feels like it's also been alleviated a little bit, because at the core of it, we've found where we need to go with the core of our healing. And for me, that kind of, that feels like the next piece for us. So yeah, I'm gonna invite all of us to start considering topics related to healing the core of separation within racial groups and across racial groups. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to everybody else for sharing with us and for joining us. And please feel free to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel. And also let us know any topics that you'd like us to go into in terms of healing the separation amongst racial groups. And with that, we thank you for following us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you, guys.